It is officially time for the big video. I'm going to be ranking every game in my collection that I have played in this video. In total, there are 127 games to be ranked here, and I'm going to be splitting it into tiers. F tier, D tier, C tier, B tier, A tier, and S tier. You can take this video however you want. If you want to use it as a way to get games recommended to you, that would be great. If you want to use it as a way to see what games that I would say to avoid, that would also be nice. But overall, I'm just making this because I think it'd be fun, and because I think maybe some people would enjoy it. On screen, I'll also have a rating out of 10 for each game, and the Metacritic rating for each game, and the difference between the two, so you can see what score I would give it. Starting off with F tier, these are games that I would just consider to be bad overall. These are the games that scored below a 6. Number 127 of 127 is Man of Medan, a PS4 game that's a spiritual successor to the fantastic Until Dawn, which we'll see later on. Man of Medan is not only very short, but what it does offer is a mediocre story, and in the end, I just hated it. It scored a 2.4 out of 10, and is the lowest rated game on my spreadsheet. At number 126, we have my personal least favorite game ever, Paper Mario Sticker Star, coming in at a whopping 2.6 out of 10. This game brings to the table horrible gameplay and no story to speak of. This game is so shit, as a matter of fact, that there's a 4-hour long video about why it's bad, made by another YouTube. Coming in at 125 of 127, we have Little Hope, which scored a 3.2 out of 10. Little Hope did impress me in one way, unlike Man of Medan. It is surprising that it used such a great setting as 1692 Salem, Massachusetts, and made a bad game out of it. It retains many of the issues from Man of Medan, and of course, the best of which, spoiler alert, being that the threat in both games are all in the characters' heads, which makes the entire game feel unsatisfying at the conclusion. Next, we have a trio of games, MLB The Show 18, 21, and 22. I have yet to reveal that I'm a big MLB The Show player to this channel yet, and these are my 3 least favorite, coming in at 3.2, 4.4, and 5.4 respectively. I could rant on about these bad MLB The Show games for about 10 minutes, but I'm just going to keep it short here. They are bad. And our final F tier game is Mario Party 9, coming out at a 5.6 out of 10. This game is infamous for introducing the cart, which many players hate, including myself. Now we have our D tier. The D tier games are rated between a 6 and a 6.8 out of 10. At number 120 out of 127, we have Pokemon Sword and Shield, a game notoriously disappointing for its mediocre story, mediocre graphics, and it's just inferior to all the 3DS games which came before it. You don't need me to tell you why Pokemon Sword and Shield are bad. Next we have MLB The Show 17. I'll keep it short. This game is mediocre compared to the ones that came after it. Now for Mario Kart 64, which got a 6.5 out of 10. In my opinion, this game is just inferior to the Mario Kart games that came after it, which is understandable, and I can't hate it too much for that, but I just don't think it holds up very well today. Especially the racing mode. The battle mode is still pretty good by today's standard. Coming in at 117 out of 127 with a 6.5 out of 10, we have Detroit Become Human. Now Detroit Become Human is split into 3 characters, Marcus, Connor, and Kara. The Connor parts of the game are amazing. They're so much fun. If it was just the Connor parts, Detroit Become Human would probably be at least a 9 out of 10. However, there are 2 other characters which are a slog to play through. Marcus's arc is just boring the entire way through, and Kara's is ruined by a late plot twist that's just baffling. Next we have Mario Sports Mix, which is pretty fun, but it's simply just a watered down version of Mario sports games. Next up we have Super Mario Party on the Switch, with a 6.5 out of 10. This game just simply lacks content, like a lot of the Mario games on the Switch. Next we have Blacksad Under the Skin, a PS4 game where you take the role of a 1950s cat detective. I personally enjoyed this game a lot. Next is Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, and the only thing keeping these games from being lower than a 6.7 is my enjoyment of the Sinnoh region in general. At 112 out of 127, we have Battletoads for the NES. Next up is The Walking Dead Telltale Part 3, The New Frontier. I personally find it confusing why they chose to follow some completely new character who's also an idiot instead of an already established character from a previous part. Some parts of this game just made me laugh at the absurdity of it all. Next is Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu. Probably the best looking Pokemon games ever made, for the mainline series at least. It also started Dexit, was missing so many things from the other games. Now we get to the C tier. These are games that I think are alright. They're alright. Now we have the Gen 7 Pokemon games, Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, and Ultra Moon. The slow pacing is what holds these games back from being much better. Now we have Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, the newest Pokemon games. Like Black Sad, these games are extremely glitchy, and I think the story is just completely mediocre. Now we have Super Mario 64 DS, a game that could be great held back by its horrible controls. Now we have Wayne Gretzky's 3D Hockey for the N64. A very random game to put on here, but one that I've found very fun throughout the years, and I don't even like hockey. Now we have Mike Tyson's Punch-Out! An instant classic from the NES, one of my favorite NES games. It didn't fare too well in my spreadsheet that I have here, based on the ratings that I gave it, but I personally really like this game. Now we have MLB The Show 19, my second favorite MLB The Show. Now we have SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom, an extremely charming game for sure, and one that I also am pretty fond of personally. Now we have The Quarry for PS5. The true successor to Until Dawn, it is a return to form for the series, no doubt. Now we have Wii Fit, a game that myself and many others used to love but have since been turned off because of how many times we see it while game hunting. But the game itself is still very fun and has a lot of fun minigames. Wii Fit also cracks off our top 100. Next is Hotel Dusk Room 215, a game that could easily be in the top 10. However, the mediocre gameplay is what holds this game back. It has a fantastic story, incredible music, and is one of my favorite DS games, but because of the way I rated these games in my spreadsheet, it's down here. Because its gameplay pretty much required a walkthrough for me to finish it without going insane. For example, I think there's one part in the early game where it doesn't tell you what to do, and what you have to do is like cut a wire hanger or something and use it to unlock a key, and it's just... I needed a walkthrough for many parts of this game. Next is Mario Super Sluggers for the Wii, one of the best Mario sports games with a diverse cast, and the gameplay itself is just very fun. Next is Mario Kart Double Dash, coming in at a 7.5 out of 10. I don't really have much to say about this one, other than that it's just not Mario Kart Wii. Next is Paper Mario the Origami King, a very disappointing game, no doubt. It is very pretty looking though, I will say. However, the Paper Mario fan inside of me still says fuck this game. At 95 out of 127, we have Guitar Hero World Tour. It's Guitar Hero, alright. Next is Pokemon X and Y, a game that could be very high if the game wasn't easy. Now we're into the B tier games. I would consider these to be good. These games scored between a 7.7 and a 9 out of 10. This is also the biggest tier of the list. Coming in at 93 out of 127, we have Mario Party DS. This is a game I'm personally very fond of. I've had it for years and years at this point. It also has one of my favorite COVID memories. During COVID school, I was playing this game during Spanish class, and I got upset and flipped my desk. Next we have Far Cry 3, coming in at a 7.7 out of 10. And the only reason it's not higher is because I haven't played it more. I never really got into this game, but I can tell you that objectively it's incredible. Next is Rayman Origins on Xbox 360. This game could also be higher if the game didn't stop working halfway through for me. But how can you not love Rayman? The modern Rayman games are fantastic. Next is Marvel vs. Capcom 2. One of my favorite looking games of all time, and one that I'm very nostalgic for, as I used to play this on my old iPad mini in the mid-2010s. Next we have Mario Kart 7 and 8. I'm going to lump these two games together because they're very similar. My personal opinion is that they're not Mario Kart Wii.
It's f***ing Mario Kart again!
Next is Mario Party 8 coming in at a 7.8 out of 10. The Mario Party game that I've played the most for sure, and also has the best minigame in Mario Party history. The soda shaking minigame. Next is the original Mario Party for N64. If this game wasn't slightly boring, it would probably be much higher because it has chance time. Next is Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. This is one of my favorite looking games of all time. I just love the comic book art style for this game. The only reason it's not higher is because there's no single player content to speak of. There's no unlockables that are worth getting, and it's just not fun to play by yourself. Next is Mario Golf Toadstool Tour. A great golfing game, but the thing is with Mario Golf is why would you play it when you can play Wii Sports Golf? Next is Pokemon Omega Ruby with a 7.8 out of 10. Again, I love Mega Evolutions, and this game is not as easy as Pokemon X and Y, so it gets points there. It would be much higher if I actually liked the Hoenn region as much as the other regions in Pokemon. Next is New Super Mario Bros. U. I'll get to why I like this game so much later when I get to New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Next we have Spider-Man Miles Morales for PS5. A beautiful looking game for the PS5. I love Spider-Man 2, so how can I not love this game? The goofy story is the only thing holding it back for me, but the gameplay is super smooth and it's super fun. Next we have Ghosts and Goblins, my favorite extremely hard NES game. I just personally like this one. I enjoy it. I don't really have much to say about it. Next is the original Spider-Man for PS4. It gets a slightly higher rating than Miles Morales with a 7.9 out of 10. The reason it got a higher rating is because it's not 5 hours long. Most of my other comments still apply, except it doesn't look as nice. Next we have Banjo-Kazooie with a 7.9 out of 10. I personally feel like this game is a little bit overhyped, but it's still good. Next we have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe coming in at a 7.9 out of 10. Of course I appreciate the abundance of tracks and abundance of cards that you can use, however, it is not Mario Kart Wii. Next we have Guitar Hero 3, my personal favorite Guitar Hero game. It's Guitar Hero. Next is Donkey Kong 64. Now a lot of people complain about this game with how you have to switch between characters and all that, but I just kind of appreciate the fact that there are so many characters to play as. Also, it has great music. Next is Batman Arkham Asylum for Xbox 360. This game surprised me with how good it was, and it got an 8 out of 10 from me. The gameplay is surprisingly really fun, and I just loved how the game pretty much took place in one night. I thought that was really cool. Next we have Mace the Dark Age, an N64 game that probably 3 of you have heard of. It's a Mortal Kombat type game that I'm personally very nostalgic for, so that's why I have it ranked so high. Next we have Pokemon Soul Silver, in my opinion the most overrated Pokemon game. Now I will say, up until the Ghost type gym, this is probably the best Pokemon game, but by the end, the leveling curve is so bad that you're usually level 38, 39 for the Elite Four, which caps out around 51, 52. So in each playthrough of this game, you're pretty much guaranteed to have an hour plus long grinding session, which is what keeps it from being among the best Pokemon games in this spreadsheet. Next we have Sonic All-Stars Racing Transformed, the best racing game on the Wii U in my opinion. Now it may not be Mario Kart Wii, but it has something that Mario Kart Wii doesn't, a full campaign mode, which is actually really hard to get 3 stars on for each mission. Next we have the original Super Mario Bros. On the NES coming in at an 8.1 out of 10. Enough said. Now we have Tetris for the Game Boy. Enough said. Next up we have Star Fox 64 for the 3DS and the N64. I've played both versions and they're very similar. Now we have Smash Bros. For 3DS, which I look back on very fondly until I actually played it a couple weeks ago, and it was nothing like I remembered it. Maybe that's just me coming off of Smash Ultimate, but it's coming in at an 8.1 out of 10. Next we have Pokemon Legends Arceus, the best Pokemon game on the Switch in my opinion. It's quite confusing to me how they made this game and then went backwards in terms of quality for the next. I don't know how that's possible considering that they came out so close to each other, but Pokemon Legends Arceus is great. If there was more battles, then this game would be much higher. Now we have Mario Maker 1 and 2. Mario Maker is a groundbreaking game in so many ways. At the time it was the only reason to really own a Wii U. And even on the Switch, it's still super fun. Not only to troll people like DGR with bad levels, but to play levels yourself. Next up is NES Remix, a very fun game. It's just NES games cut up into bite-sized challenges, but it's great. Super Mario Bros. 2 is next, the Doki Doki Panic version, and I'm actually recording this in the process of editing this because I forgot to record this part when I was originally recording it. But yeah, I like this game a lot. It was pretty much the game that got me into retro gaming, and I think it's very fun. I enjoy all the characters and all that. Great game. And while I have the opportunity in the middle of editing this, make sure you guys hit that like button. This is taking so long to edit. I've probably put 8 hours or so into this already, and I'm only halfway. Help me, please. Next is Tomodachi Life, a game that I'm personally very fond of and I find very funny. I've had multiple Tomodachi Life saves over the year, and all of them have had very interesting things on them. Whether it be interesting songs, catchphrases, you know. It's Tomodachi Life. It's great. Bring it to Switch, please. Now we have Scribblenauts Unlimited for the Wii U. Something I personally love about this game is the ability to create anything. You can make anything in this game. And similarly to Tomodachi Life, actually, I've made some very interesting things on this game. Next is MLB The Show 20, the best MLB The Show. Next is New Super Mario Bros. On the DS. Next is Mario 3D Land for the 3DS. Next is Pokemon Platinum, the definitive way to play the Sinnoh region. It has some of the best music in the series, and it has the most replay value for me. Now is Luigi's Mansion 3, a beautiful looking game, probably the best looking Nintendo game they've ever made. And Luigi's Mansion is of course great. Next we have 2 classic Nintendo games that I'm probably going to make people upset by not having them higher. Both of these come in at an 8.5 out of 10. First we have Zelda A Link to the Past. Of course this game is good, but I have one issue with it. I suck at this game. So, a lot of the times I would die in battle and then I'd get booted back to the beginning of the dungeon, and then I'd have to go off, venture to a fairy fountain, collect 3 fairies, and then go all the way back, and it was a hassle every time. The second of which being Mario Odyssey. I personally think this game is a tad bit overrated. My main issue is one that a lot of people have. There's just too much moons. Getting a moon in Mario Odyssey doesn't feel as good as getting a star in Mario 64 or a shine in Mario Sunshine, and that's what's holding it back. Next we have Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, coming in at an 8.5 out of 10. I haven't played this one in a while, so it's possible that it's better than the 3DS one gameplay-wise, but I'd imagine it's the same, considering that was very heavily advertised at the time.
Is that it? Can I continue? No, I want to do it on 9 point. Ah!
Starting off the top 50, we have Gravity Rush for the PS4, a Scott the Woz game that I really enjoyed playing through. It looks great, has a pretty fun story, and its gameplay feels a lot like Spider-Man. Next is Portal 2, one of the best puzzle games ever made, and the only reason I don't have it ranked higher is just because I think it looks kinda ugly, but besides that, the game is fantastic. I love the puzzles, the story's great. How can you not love Portal 2? Next is Dr. Mario. It's Dr. Mario, alright. Now we get to The Walking Dead Telltale Part 2. There are 3 games that made me cry, and this is one of them. We'll get to the other 2 later. If you haven't played this series, you probably should. Maybe skip the 3rd part, because it sucks, but the other 2, very good. I haven't played the 4th part yet, though. That's on the backlog, don't worry. Next is Super Monkey Ball 2 for the GameCube. Next is Diddy Kong Racing, the best N64 racing game with an 8.7 out of 10. It has a good campaign mode, which I think goes a long way in a racing game. Next we have Virtue's Last Reward for the 3DS with an 8.7 out of 10. This series is one of my favorites. It's a combination of an escape room game and a visual novel. Editing me is hopping in here because what I originally said at this point after the summary of this game was complete nonsense, but the real reason I don't have it any higher is because I just don't like a couple of the characters. That's really it, but the story is fantastic. Next is Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Of course this game is great. It's got great music, the cases are all super fun. Everyone loves these games, they're classics for sure. I still have to play the other ones though, I've only played the first one so far, but it was great. Next is Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. It looks great, it plays great, it is great. We have Mario 3. Coming in at an 8.7 out of 10. My hot take is that I like Mario World better than this game. Next we have Zelda Ocarina of Time. The highest rated game of all time on Metacritic with a 9.9, but I gave it an 8.7. It's not my favorite Zelda game by any means, but it is still great. Next we have Mario Kart DS. It may not be Mario Kart Wii, but it's the other one that I played as a kid, and I still think it's great. With so many classics, like Airship Fortress, Luigi's Mansion, Tick-Tock Clock. There's so many great ones on here, and there's also the mission mode, which I love too. Next is Until Dawn. In the awful year that was 2020, a certain MLB The Show YouTuber played this game on their second channel, and every night I would eagerly wait for the next upload that never came, so I had to take matters into my own hands. I pulled an all-nighter to watch Jacksepticeye's Let's Play on this game, and I ended up going to sleep around 9:30 in the morning. I then played the game myself, and really enjoyed it. Coming in at an 8.8 out of 10, we have Mario Sunshine. You don't need me to tell you why this game's good. But I will say, people always complain about the watermelon mission in this game, and I find it extremely easy. That's my Mario Sunshine hot take of the day. Next we have Red Dead Redemption, one of the most famously great games of all time. A fantastic story, and in my opinion I like the gameplay in this one better than Red Dead 2. It's a lot snappier, so you can just easily snap onto guys' heads and shoot them. Next up is Pokemon Black and White, which is my personal favorite Pokemon game to play randomizers for, and the only reason it's not my favorite overall is because of the limiting Pokedex, where there's not as many options as the other games. And I still do love Gen 5 Pokemon, of course. Number 34 is Smash Bros. Melee, and this game was my favorite for a while, so I'm very nostalgic for it, which is exactly why it's ranked so high. For a long time it was my go-to Smash game to play. At number 33, with our first 8.9 out of 10, we have Super Mario 3D World, a game heavily enhanced by its Switch port, which increases movement speed and gives more movement options, and because of that, I think it's one of the best Mario games ever made. In addition, it has a very fun multiplayer mode that allows for lots of trolling. At number 32, we have Minecraft. At number 31, I have Super Mario World. At number 30 is The Walking Dead Telltale Part 1. The first game to ever make me cry. Its story is extremely depressing, but it's so good and I would recommend anyone go play it. 29 is New Super Mario Bros. Wii, and while a lot of people may be upset with this ranking, my justification for it is that I am a troll, and I enjoy trolling my friends in this game's multiplayer mode. And number 28 is Zelda Majora's Mask, and this game is great for the same reason as many other Zelda games, but the reason I like it so much more is because it achieves the dark, eerie atmosphere without looking like it was dropped in the mud like Twilight Princess was. And number 27 is Wii Sports, and I don't think I need to say much. One of the Wii's best games, and you've probably played it too. Number 26 is BioShock 2, my personal favorite shooter of all time gameplay-wise, and it's only held back by its mediocre story. It keeps the excellent setting of Rapture, which is probably my favorite setting in a game ever, which I'll get to a little bit more later, but I love BioShock 2, and I think it's very underrated. At number 25 is GTA 5. I don't really need to explain too much, we've all enjoyed goofing around in this game's online multiplayer mode before. And now we've reached our A tier. These games scored between a 9.1 and a 9.9, and if someone was to ask me what are your favorite games, these are games I'd probably reference pretty often. First game in A tier is Smash Bros. Ultimate. It really is the ultimate Smash Bros. Game because of its extensive roster of characters, stages, and everything. You name it, it's in there. At 23 with a 9.1 out of 10, we have Batman Arkham City, a game that once again it surprised me with how good it was. And it's a great story, it looks great, and I love how many tools you have at your disposal. Number 22 is the iconic LA Noire. It was the first game I ever played when I got my Xbox 360 a few years ago, and I loved it. It has a great story, and I love all the different cases. They're super fun. My favorite cases are the Black Dahlia replica murders.
You fuck young boys, Valdez. Are you a madman?
21 is Super Paper Mario, the game that I played to start the pandemic. It has a great story and puts you in so many crazy situations, and I'd recommend it to anyone. It's super fun. Number 20 is Super Mario Galaxy, and I'm sure you've all played it. You know it's great. One of the best soundtracks of all time, Mario in space. What is there not to love? Number 19 is Zelda Skyward Sword. I played the HD version first on the Switch, and I loved it. It surprised me by being a Zelda game with a story, and I know a lot of people don't appreciate how it makes you go back to the same couple of areas over and over again for all the dungeons, but I personally enjoy that. Number 18 is Super Mario 64, a game that I've played a million times over. It's extremely iconic, and it's just great. Number 17 is Persona 3 Portable, a Persona game with a fantastic story that I think is only held back by a few glaring flaws, such as the lack of cutscenes, Tartarus being extremely boring, and a couple other quality of life things, but the story is fantastic in Persona 3. Number 16 is Red Dead Redemption 2, and this game has one of the greatest stories ever told through gaming with some beautiful cutscenes and beautiful graphics, but the reason it's not any higher is because I feel like the gameplay is lacking compared to most of the other entries this high. Number 15 is Wii Sports Resort, a truly upgraded version of Wii Sports in every way except for cutting baseball for some reason. I still love Resort though, and it's one of my ultimate gaming hot takes that Wii Sports Resort is one of the best games ever made. It's pretty much perfect at what it's trying to do. Number 14 is Elden Ring, a truly grand game in every way. Everyone knows how good it is. You don't need me to tell you why Elden Ring's great. Number 13, we have Paper Mario. I love this game for its badge system and its wacky cast of characters, and of course the Paper Mario flair. Number 12 is Pokemon Black 2, my favorite Pokemon game of all time, mainly for its Pokédex and extensive amount of post-game content. Number 11 is Mario & Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. This game was originally ranked much higher in my spreadsheet, mainly because I couldn't find a possible area to dock points on this game because I feel like it is pretty much perfect objectively speaking, but I haven't finished it yet, so I can't put it any higher. And now we're at the top 10, which I've saved to record for after I edited the rest of the video. Before we get into it, I'd personally like to address the personal problem of me using the word personally every 5 seconds throughout this video. And I originally ranked everything in April, which is before Zelda Tears of the Kingdom came out, and now that I've played it, it would definitely be in the top 5. Number 10 is The Last of Us, one of the most popular picks for the greatest game of all time, and one that surprisingly gets you attached to its fantastic story and characters in a short runtime of only about 13 hours, and compared to most story-based shooter games, it has so much replay value. I could play this game over and over and over again and never get bored of it. Number 9 is the original BioShock. The greatest setting in video game history combined with the great story and great gameplay gives us BioShock, a very, very well-rounded game that is great in almost all aspects. The setting of Rapture is of course the best, which is a failed utopian society underwater, which is as beautiful as it is interesting. Number 8 is Super Mario Galaxy 2, my favorite of all the mainline Mario games and of course the highest rated one on here. The level design is just impeccable, and it started the great trend of just having that one really hard level at the end of every Mario game. Number 7 is BioShock Infinite, my favorite of all the BioShock games as it combines BioShock 2's great gameplay with BioShock 1's great story, and of course you can't forget about the great ending and Elizabeth. Number 6 is 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors for the Nintendo DS. This game is mainly a visual novel like Virtue's Last Reward, which was earlier mentioned, but I think it does what it does much better. The story seems simple on the surface right at the start, but then things get so complicated so quickly. I'm not going to spoil anything, so if you haven't played this game already, please go do it. Please. It's S tier time. 10 or better, let's go. Number 5 is Persona 4 or Persona 4 Golden. I absolutely love this game. All the hangout sessions are super funny, and while the characters may not be my favorite individually, I think as a group they definitely work the best, because so many funny moments between the other characters interacting. As for a weakness, of course the auto-generated dungeons suck to go through, but the story makes up for it. It is so many fun twists and turns, and this game had me laughing a lot. And when I played this game, I pretty much played it all in 1 week, and it was one of the greatest weeks of my life. And number 4 is Mario Kart Wii, which is probably the first game I ever played, which may sound a little wacky to some of you older people watching out there. It was my original favorite game. I have so much nostalgia for this game and I still play it regularly, and of every game on here, this is probably the one that I'm best at. And as for an actual gameplay reason why I like this one, inside drifting bikes are just so good. Number 3 is another one of my former favorite games, Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. It just took what the original Paper Mario did and did it so much better. Something I love about this game is its chapters and how they're each their own individual story, which are just as interesting as the main one. Some of my favorites include the Glitzville Pit, which is a wrestling league with a dark secret that Mario uncovers, Twilight Town, a haunted town where everyone's turning to pigs, and XS Express, where you have to solve a murder. All of these subplots are super interesting, yet still combine to make the overarching story, which is also fantastic. Number 2 is Breath of the Wild. As opposed to just saying the generic stuff about why this game is good, I'll get into more pretentious reasons. The attention to detail in this game is fantastic. Every minor minigame is more fleshed out than the average Wii game is. I've beaten this game 5 times throughout the years, and I know every little detail about it. And number 1 is God of War for PS4. A game so perfect I gave it an 11 out of 10. My favorite story in gaming, my favorite music in gaming, my favorite graphics in gaming. A 120-hour runtime. This game will last you months. Not only that, but it's a 120-hour JRPG with a replay value. How is that even possible? A game so good that I played the entire series in 3 months after beating the first one. And all the games are 50-hour JRPGs. So many classic characters. So much style, and that's why it's my number 1. So, that's it. This video is not yet done as I'm recording this, but it might as well be. I've put 15 to 20 hours into this shit. It better not flop. Don't let it. Please like and subscribe and comment, please. But in all seriousness, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Each and every view will be worshipped because it's probably only going to get 25. I was originally going to do only the top 10, but then I realized no one is going to watch that. So I have to go for a much more bigger approach, and I've tried my hardest to make this video as funny and as interesting as I could. Again, sorry for using personally so many times, but I'll see you guys in the next video.